But the scale and speed of what we're going through right now, in terms of the quantity of data and in terms of the speed of startups, not only here, but around the globe. But just, I mean, everyone has their favorite number, but this was one that I loved in Stefan's book. The world's fastest supercomputer, as of this writing, can handle 33 quadrillion calculations in a second. That's 33,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 calculations in a second. To put that in perspective, when President Reagan proposed the Star Wars defense system in the late 1980s, the part of the system that was designed to float in space, watch for missiles coming from Russia, target them at 17,000 miles an hour and destroy them, it was said to require a computer that could do 60 million calculations per second. Because I think tonight, folks will leave redefining the way they think about search. And I think that's one of the things that we'll talk about now. But Stefan, if you don't mind, can we talk a little bit about you?
I started writing code when I was about 8 years old. Computers were my friend because I didn't have other real friends, which I still am thankful for. And I decided to do that for a long time, then wanted to be an attorney. So I wanted to do pre-law, mostly because I couldn't get women as a nerd back when I was in high school. True story. It was before nerds were cool, so I had no game. And so went to be an attorney, realized that was a terrible, terrible idea, and then came back to technology when I was about 21, I guess, or 22. And then went right to Microsoft, basically, as a kid. And 17 years later, I'm still there. And during that time, I bounced around from network security to cyber threats to search to developer on SQL Server to be a PM on SharePoint. What really got me excited about the book and what got me excited about the topic was just seeing as we built Bing. I got there before we actually launched it and helped with the initial launch and get it out the door. Was just the magnitude of the challenge was the first thing. But the second thing was I just got pissed because people should expect more from search engines than they're getting. The fact that we're still using keywords to search something the same way we searched 15 years ago, when the technology underlying the web itself has changed so dramatically, just pissed me off. I mean, no one here uses a cell phone from 15 years ago, although I did see a BlackBerry in the audience, so maybe it's close. But generally, no one uses a cell phone from that, because it would be incomprehensibly bad. Yet we still think of search in that way, and that's, I think, what really got me thinking about the topic and thinking about Bing, because you can do way more than, as the underdog, you can do a lot more innovation, and the folks have a lot of money.
I found fascinating your book, The History of Search. So if you give us a quick tour of where we are right now and how it came this way, and then we'll turn to where things are going.
Sure. The one that everyone knows was Yahoo. And Yahoo actually wasn't a search engine initially, it was a directory. And Yahoo actually stood for yet another hierarchical officious oracle. That was what Yahoo stood for. And what it was literally people looking across this new thing called the interweb, seeing 250,000 sites on the net, and manually categorizing them. So you have all these, if you recall, those of you old enough, those of you who recall Yahoo, you would literally navigate through a hierarchy to find, fine arts, and then Greek arts, and then all the way down to the page that you were looking for. Well, of course, as the web got bigger, that became impractical. You could no longer do that. And so they built an index. And then it was really when Sergey and Larry designed Backrub, which is the algorithm that became Google. And they used this notion of authority rank, or the ability for pages to reference each other. And the innovation was keyword-based weighting.
What is the capable web?
The capable web is something I coined, which talks about the web no longer being a bunch of pages linked with keywords, but really an underpinning of society, which allows you to do things in the real world or in the physical world using the powers of the digital web. So it takes it away from an information structure to something which can help you do things in the real world.
And so talk a little bit more about do things versus finding things.
Well, that's the big thing, right? So if search has been all about finding things for the last 15 years, and the contention in the book is, at least, that it should move beyond that. And if you read it, you'll see why. We're now literally creating a complete digital representation of the planet inside of the index. At Bing, for example, we have 33 billion objects inside the index. And these are people, places, and things. All of you are probably in that model. And so it's more than just pages. It's a full recreation of the planet. So when you have that, when you suddenly have the entire planet modeled in some level of detail, the ability to do things versus just find things becomes probable. Why or how? Because the machines themselves understand their place in the world. So when I say something like, I have to get a cable for my phone before I go on a flight tomorrow, Suddenly the search engines understand what I mean. They understand what a cable is, they understand what a phone is, they understand what kind of phone I have, what kind of cable that is, where you can buy it when I leave tomorrow. They suddenly begin to understand reality, not just a bunch of pages on the web. And as a result, they can help us do things in real life versus just find things.
Hey, as always, thanks for watching, and if you'd like to be among the very first to know when I publish a new episode of Frank's World TV, be sure to click the subscribe button down here to your left. Also, if you want to do me a really big favor, be sure to click the like button for this video. And as always, you're welcome to make a comment too. Thanks.
I guess I can probably be careful. There's mics here from Microsoft.